Hey guys, welcome back. Welcome if you're new. My name is Mandy, and today is going to be a garden update video. So it feels like spring here. I live in northern Arizona, zone 8B, and the weather has been absolutely beautiful. Now, the nights are still getting a little cold, sometimes the high 30s, mainly the 40s. So I can't start planting out everything that I would like to, but we are going to direct sow some seeds today. And in the next video, we're gonna be starting some seeds in my greenhouse that I will show you in a minute. So before we go outside and start planting anything, I'm just gonna share with you the seeds that I'm starting today, and I guess maybe my plan for planting some other things. So let's just get right into it. I am so excited. I love gardening season. So last year my husband built me an above ground garden bed. It is, I think it's 3 feet by 36 feet. It's really long. I think it's 3 feet tall, maybe 2 feet tall. Anyway, I love it. I grew a lot of stuff in it last year. Last year it got really hot here and my garden didn't do that great. Now I think part of it was the new bed, the new soil probably needed some extra nutrients that I didn't amend it good enough with. So this year we're going to add some amendments to it, but I also added some like native soil to it over the winter, and I think it's gonna be a lot better this year anyway. I hope so. So we're just gonna get started with the seeds that I'm gonna be planting today. So we're gonna start with some turnips. I like turnips. I like them raw. I like to dip them in a little ranch dressing. They're sweet, and in the summer when it's hot, they're nice and cool. I really enjoy eating turnips. So we're gonna plant some of those today. It says the soil temperature should be 55 to 75, but our temperatures are going up really fast. It's gonna be in the 80s here in about a week. So I think these will be okay once they germinate. So I'm kind of taking a chance on some of these things, but I feel comfortable with it. I'm not gonna plant a ton of seeds, but I'm gonna get some in the ground just in case we don't get any more cold weather and all this stuff can get a head start. So the next thing that I am super confident with, because I had some growing out there already, are radishes. I love radishes because they grow so quickly and I can plant them in between other things that grow a little bit slower, and I can still be, you know, harvesting radishes, like let's say around a tomato plant while the tomato plant is still growing. So this is going to be something I plant in rows, but I also am going to be adding this in other areas as I plant out other vegetables. So this is a champion radish. I also am going to be planting these early scarlet globe radishes. The difference in these, one obviously is red and one is more of a pink, but I think the days to harvest, these two are actually the same. They're both 25 days to harvest. These are a cherry bell that I have really enjoyed, and they're only 22 days to harvest. So a couple different varieties. I also have never tried this sparkler radish, but it's 25 days as well. Because it's still kind of cool here, these will probably take a little bit longer. I'm sorry if you hear noise in the background. My dogs are just enjoying playing with each other in the living room right now, and they're making all kinds of noise. So I also am gonna plant these Detroit dark red beets. We love beets. We love cooked beets. I like to eat them with a little mayonnaise on them. My husband just likes to eat them. They are delicious. I am gonna be looking for some golden beet seeds as well because I would really like to try them, but I am gonna get these in the ground now, and hopefully we get some nice big beets because they're delicious and they're really good for you. All right, so these last two things are kind of an experiment. I throw a lot of kitchen compost in the garden, and I noticed last year that a lot of my tomato scraps and pepper scraps were growing peppers and tomatoes, which I knew you could grow plants from them, but I didn't think well, why not just throw some seeds in there and see if they grow? So if we do have a freeze, I do have a frost cover that I could cover any plants that I needed to. But like I said, this is going to be an experiment. So I do have these Celebration tomatoes. I think this is like an early tomato. It says harvest in 72 days. Let's see what it says. Produces large red 8-ounce fruits, adapts well to most areas, and is excellent in creating delicious salads and sandwiches. So, cannot tolerate frost. There was another tomato I was gonna try. This is my seed organization. Maybe it was this one. Let's see what this says. No, this says it's definitely an indeterminate, and I'm not sure about this one. I think I'm going to take a chance and put these directly into the garden bed. I like to put determinate tomatoes in my raised bed, and indeterminate tomatoes I like to put in the ground because they grow way too tall for my raised garden bed. They go up and over the wall, and I don't want them growing in someone else's yard. So yeah, I am going to be throwing a couple of these in the bed. Yeah, Celebration tomatoes. I think that's what I was thinking. I thought I had an early girl variety, but I'm gonna have to look through my seeds again and see about that. So along with that, these red sweet peppers. This is a California Wonder. I have some seeds that I started in the greenhouse that have germinated, but again, I just want to see if they come up. So I'm gonna put some of these seeds directly into the garden bed as well. And the last thing I'm going to plant are these impatiens. This is a dollar store package. I actually think there's a lot of filler in here. Yeah, there is. So I don't know. I'm just gonna plant a little bit of this. I just want a little extra color in my garden bed. I have some other flowers that I'm gonna be planting seeds in the greenhouse, but these I just thought, actually I think it said it grows really well in the shade. Oh, plant under trees and large shrubs. So I do have a tree in the backyard, and I think I will. I'll just plant these around the base of the tree, and hopefully we'll get some beautiful flowers to go in the backyard. So let me look through my seeds here again, and I'll see if there's anything else that I want to try direct sowing today. You'll see there's already some stuff out there, and I'm super excited. All right, I was right. I do have some early girl tomatoes. This does say it's an indeterminate, but last year I planted these. I bought plants at the nursery and I planted them in my raised garden bed, and they didn't get to be that big. So I'm gonna take a chance with these as well. I do have tomatoes already growing in the greenhouse, but I'm going to keep those in there for a little while longer. So my plan is that next week I am going to plant some seeds out with you, and we're gonna get those started in the greenhouse. I can't do it today because I need some more seed starting mix. I think everything else we can talk about outside, so let's go outside. All right, this has been like the only day this week I could come out here and do this because the wind isn't terrible. So it will get windier throughout the day, and you might have problems hearing me at times, but for now, we're just gonna do this. So I brought out my seeds. I also have some of these labels. I actually forgot a permanent marker, so I'm gonna have to go in and get that. I'm going to turn you guys around and I'm going to show you everything that's already growing in this bed. This is the only bed we're going to be working on today. I have some other projects going on at the other side of the yard, and we'll go into that later. But I'll show you everything growing, everything in the greenhouse today, and then we will plant some seeds. So let me show you what we got going on. All right, so this is the raised garden bed that my husband built last spring. So it's been here a year. It's absolutely beautiful. I love it. Everything that's in here is pretty new. Some things I overwintered and well, you'll see those, but we're gonna start on this end. These two plants on the end are artichoke plants. There's two of them. And I actually started these a year ago, and I had them in a smaller pot and they did not do well at all. So as you can see, they are growing great in this garden bed. They are getting big and they are so beautiful. I would grow artichoke plants just as greenery, honestly. They're just so pretty. No artichokes forming yet. I'm not really sure. I thought artichokes were spring. I'm hoping to see something pretty soon. I did have one I started from seed that I just moved to this area right here because it was getting shaded out between those two. So he's growing right there. I also had one that had come up on its own and I don't think it survived. I transplanted it and I don't think it lived. I have thrown some kitchen scraps in here, which is just, that's the way that I compost. I just throw it in the garden bed. These cabbages have been in the ground for much longer than they were supposed to be. I don't think I was watering well enough during the winter, but these have been in this bed all winter long. I have picked one. These are all coming out at the beginning of April if they're ready or not. Some of them are getting firm and some aren't, but regardless, we're gonna be pulling those out. It gets way too warm here in April for me to have any brassicas growing. So everything else except for these two things right here are pretty new. I had if you go back and watch, I'll link it down below if you're interested, if you want to see what this garden bed looked like a couple days ago. It was full of lettuce and carrots and cilantro and broccoli, and I tore that all out this weekend and I filled the bed up with more dirt that I had in an area on the other side of the garden. So these are Swiss chard plants and I did have them growing. I transplanted them here. They all look like they have perked back up. I did cut off a lot of the leaves just to try to give them a little break. So they're all looking good. I'm happy about that. This row right here is celery that I had planted and I transplanted. It looks great. I don't know how well celery does in the heat, but we're gonna try it. I planted it last fall and we ate it quite a few times. Actually, at Thanksgiving, I used all my own celery for stuffing. So that's really exciting. These are all green onions that I planted from seeds. They were down there on that side of the bed and I separated them and I planted 2 rows right here. So they're looking good. This is all lettuce that I harvested and I transplanted it. So I actually can already see new growth on this one. So I think it's gonna do well. This is all romaine lettuce. I have a couple of marigolds in here that I transplanted from my other garden. These 2 rows right here are cilantro. And this is, I think it's speckled lettuce. I transplanted that as well. There's 4 right there. I've noticed that in this bed, I like to overcrowd things and I'm trying to make rows that, you know, each plant has some space in between. So this is my last broccoli plant, and I left it there so it could go to seed. It's growing here, you know, at the edge of the planter, and I just thought I'll leave it there so it'll bloom, and you know, it'll start encouraging those pollinators to come to my backyard. These are carrots that I planted in the fall. I'm just letting them grow a little bit longer. They're not very big. I don't think I'm going to plant carrots anymore. They just take too long, and by the time like the new season starts and I want to plant other stuff, the carrots are always in the way. So until we move somewhere where we have more space so I can have a designated carrot area, because we love homegrown carrots. They are so much sweeter and milder than a store-bought carrot. We love having them, but I don't love the space that they take up in this smaller backyard. Back there are 2 trays of lettuce that I need to plant. We're gonna do that today as well. Again, dogs came out with me. This is a marigold. It's not looking very happy, but I think it's gonna be okay. And these are kale. I just did 3 kale plants right here. They were so big that I knew I wasn't gonna need any more than 3, because I'm the only one in my family that enjoys eating kale. So just 3 kale plants right there. I did go ahead and put a few more green onions in here in the front. This is another marigold. These are some green onions that I need to just harvest and get rid of, because I don't want any more green onions in this bed. So one thing about this bed is this end gets a lot of shade from this tree that's here in the middle of the yard. So I'm actually going to be putting some tomatoes and peppers in this side, because when it gets really, really hot, I think they will benefit from a little bit of shade. Also, I probably should put some of that lettuce down here as well. It'll keep it from going to seed too fast. So that's what that bed looks like right now. I tore out all the soaker hoses, so they're all laying on the ground because I need to redo my soaker hoses. These are strawberries. They didn't do very well over the winter. I know they don't produce over the winter, but they're looking a little sad, so they need some fertilizer. And I got some fabric, like circles, to put the plant through the middle, and so that when they start producing strawberries, the strawberries will sit on the fabric. Now you'll have to go back and watch that video if you want to see what this looked like before, but this was a like block garden bed, and I have torn it all out. We are discussing, we're working towards hopefully selling this house and buying a small piece of property. So we just thought it was kind of an eyesore. So what we're gonna do is let the lawn grow in that area and cover that up like it's done over here. And I'm gonna just be planting stuff in the ground in this section this year. I'm not gonna worry about weeding or anything. I'm gonna cut the grass around the plants, but yeah, that's what this area is going to be this year, and I'm okay with it. We might not even be here to harvest some of this stuff, but in case we are, I still want to have it. I still want to grow it. So that's the plan for that. Those are potatoes growing. I just threw some more dirt on them. This is my greenhouse, and I have this little tower garden over here. I'll show you what's growing in there. Everything's a mess because I have been working on this project all weekend, and the dirt that was in this bed, I refilled that bed with, so it worked out perfectly. So in this tower, I have some broccoli growing. Again, it gets so hot here so fast. I'm sure this will all go to seed, but it's okay. I have radishes in this level, lettuce in this level, and then I put some herbs down here. The dill is growing. I think I have some parsley growing. Looks like there's a little thyme growing in there. This is a miniature sunflower. I have one on each side that I'm super excited about. Hopefully Oh, and there's some parsley down there. Now let me open the greenhouse and I'll show you what's growing in there. So here where I live, our last frost date is usually in the end of March. Last year, we had a hard frost at the beginning of April. So I'm assuming that's why our frost date this year is in April. So, oh, that's so disappointing. I want so badly to plant stuff because, like I said, it's spring here. It is beautiful. It's warm. You know, feels like it's time to plant. But because of last year's conditions, I am waiting to plant out any peppers or tomatoes because they almost got all wiped out last year. They all had to be cut back to just a nub, and I had to wait for new growth to grow. I had bought them all from a nursery here in town, and it was so sad to have these beautiful, like, I don't know, foot tall tomato plants get cut back so far and, you know, go so far back in, you know, their growth. It was very sad. So this year I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna try really hard to wait, but let me show you what I do have growing in here. They're not looking amazing. I need to fertilize them, but some of the tomatoes need to be potted up. So when I get that soil, I'll probably do that. But for today, nothing in here is really gonna change. I also have this pot down here at the bottom. I planted some tomato seeds from some tomatoes that I had bought at the store. They started growing and then they disappeared, and I started seeing all of these, what I call roly-polies. I'm not sure what their technical name is. I think they ate my seedlings. So that is really upsetting. I actually have heard, look, can you see? There's like their legs showing up everywhere now. Look at them all. I've heard you can put like a slice of orange in here and they will all kind of cling to it and you can throw it away. But that was really sad. I didn't think about it, but I could plant some tomatoes in here. But again, I'm having a roly-poly issue here. All right, so over here, I think these are all Roma tomatoes. I planted my seeds in just some soil out of the garden, and I think it was just too heavy for the poor little seedlings. So not a good germination rate, but it's okay. These are Romas. I have 4 here and 2 over here. These are San Marzano. I didn't have any luck with those last year, but the ones that did produce were not San Marzanos. They weren't shaped like a San Marzano. It's a very like teardrop shaped tomato. So I think that the nursery had you know, labeled it wrong, which is another reason why I'm really excited to just grow what I've started from seed myself. I also have 1 jalapeno right there, and this little guy is a cayenne pepper. This tray looks great. These are all California Wonders. I don't know if this one is going to make it, but I have 3 here. This is a Marmande tomato. It's a slicing tomato, so it's gonna have to go in the ground. It's a indeterminate, and so is this. These back here, this is called Moscovich. I planted these last year, and they grew so well in their little pots, and then the dog attacked them all and they all died, which is part of the reason that I had to buy all my plants last year. But it looks like we're gonna get to try them again. They all need to be put in new pots. And these are all cayenne peppers over here. My husband loves dried cayenne peppers. I like to put them in my beans when I'm canning beans. So I'm excited to have plenty cayenne peppers. I hope they all live. This tray has some kale in it that needs to go into the garden. It's actually just 3 more plants, so I'm gonna actually have 6 plants of kale. And these tomatoes in the middle, looks like every single one came up except for one that was in this little seed block right here. But this is a tomato on the vine. You know when you buy tomatoes from a grocery store and they have the variety that's still on the vine? These are all seeds from those that I saved from last year that I grew. And I found that the tomato plant was very resistant to any disease or anything. The tomatoes were beautiful, so I went ahead and planted those again. And that is just one jalapeno plant that looks like he might make it. So that's it for this side. Now, this side over here, these 2 tomatoes are also the Marmandy. They just got too big for those cells, and look how big they are now that I put them in a new pot. So all those other tomatoes need to go in these 3-inch pots, which is fine. I will do that, but probably tomorrow is when I'll get my seeds starting, and you guys will see that in the next video. But anyway, these are 2 Marmandy tomatoes. And this is all broccoli that I started a lot earlier. It's gonna get too hot for broccoli. I was experimenting, and I mean, it was a good idea, but it's gonna get too hot for that. So that's all probably gonna be composted, or I'll just grow it as long as I can and eat the leaves, because we love eating the leaves as like greens. So that's it in here. So that's it for what's already growing. Now we're gonna go ahead and start planting some of those seeds. And also, I need to grab my gloves. Also, we're going to get those lettuce seedlings planted and watered because they look like they were a little dry. So let's go. Also, I didn't talk about these. These are actually my, like, what do we call these? They are these hoops that they connect together. The pieces connect together and make hoops, and the freeze fabric or blanket lays over the top of them. I've just taken them all apart and I've put them like a foot away from each other, so I knew like how much I could plant in each foot. Like 1 tomato plant will go, you know, from here to there. 1 pepper plant would go there, but I could do several radishes. I could do probably 3 rows of lettuce. That is why those are there, just so I have an idea. Also, I didn't talk about herbs. I'm gonna try starting my herbs from seed this year. I noticed when I put them directly into the bed last spring, they didn't grow as well as when I started them like in the house or in the greenhouse. So we're gonna start those next week as well. So all right, we're just gonna start planting. In this first bed, I am gonna do lettuce because the lettuce is going to be done before the tomatoes get too big, so I can kind of like succession plant some of these things. The radishes, the lettuce, it's all going to be ready before the tomatoes get, you know, too large to shade them out. So we're going to kind of like interplant lettuce and radishes in between some tomato plants. So I might like put a tomato plant where that stake is, like a row of 3, and then I might have like lettuce and radishes in between, along with some herbs and stuff. So all right, let's plant these seeds we brought out. This is romaine. It doesn't really take the cold very well, but this is I can't remember, black-seeded Simpson maybe? Oh no, iceberg. This is iceberg lettuce, and it's going to like the cool weather more than the hot weather. So we're going to kind of like plant rows of these mixed together in this shaded area, and hopefully it'll work out.
What's it like to be the one that he turns to when he's out of answers? What's it like to be the one that he like to hold his hand when he tells you that you're all he wants. And it's midnight, oh, I'm thinking about him. I have got him on my mind, but he doesn't know my name, and I'm running out of time. I wish you felt the same, and I'm acting stupid like every day. Don't know what to do or what I should say, 'cause I have got him on my mind, but he doesn't know my name. I wanna hold his
Look at these
hand,
seeds,
'cause
they're so
I
weird.
can't stop thinking about him. And would he understand if I told him how I feel about him? Oh, 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 oh. I have got him on my mind, but he doesn't know my name, and I'm running out of time. I wish you felt the same, and I'm acting stupid like every day. Don't know what to do or what I should say, 'cause I have got him on my mind, but he doesn't know my name. He doesn't know my name.
All right, that's gonna be all the seeds that I start today. I have some radishes that I didn't start, but I want to succession plant. So as these germinate, I will start a new row somewhere else. And like I said, I want to sprinkle them in as other plants start to grow. I did 1 row of turnips, 2 rows of beets. Same with those. As they germinate, I want to plant more so that they're not all ripe at the same time. I also have some sunflowers. Last year I planted them on the other side of the garden. This year I want to plant them in a seed tray, and this wall back here, I want to plant them up against the wall to kind of make like a sunflower wall. Sorry, I know you're crooked. I'm having some, technical difficulties. So anyway, I'm gonna water this bed really well. Like I said, I have soaker hoses, but I want to change them a little bit this year so that the water is, I can't explain it. Originally, my soaker hoses went this way, but I need some going this way across the bed to water the rows. So I'm gonna have to buy a few things to adjust it a little bit, but I'm gonna do that on a different day. I'm just gonna water this with a hose today and come back next Sunday, and we will be planting some seeds in some seed trays, and we'll see if there's any change. Thank you so much for joining me today, you guys. I love the garden. Garden videos are probably my favorite videos. I just love growing stuff. So I hope this inspires you to grow something, even if you have a smaller backyard, even if it's smaller than mine. I mean, mine's not very big. I don't have any land or anything, but get a pot, get a planter, invest in a raised bed, get some dirt. You will love seeing food growing that you planted. It's amazing. I love it. So I hope you guys will stick around, and we'll see how well this garden does this year. I'm praying for a great garden year. I'm actually praying I get a bigger garden. But I love this one, and I'm so happy with it. So, all right guys, that's it for today. Have a great day. Thanks for joining me. Bye.
I watch you you dry. Do you know I'm looking? And I can't help but smile. Do you know how much I love you? You put my favorite song on, I put my feet up, and we just sing along. And I can't help but feeling, just loving this moment. Can we stay here forever? I'm loving this moment. Can we stay here together? If I could stop the time, don't you know that